Please come to order. We've got a quorum present, all the members present, all legal notices have been duly posted, and this court is duly called. Is there a motion to open court?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Bailiff, please open court.
All right. The Dallas County Commissioners Court is now in session for April 2013 term with the Honorable Judge Jenkins presiding. Please remain standing for the invocation.
And our invocation today will be given by a guest of Commissioner Price.
Judge, Commissioners, this morning, we're pleased to have with us Brother Tom Mills. Tom Mills is a lay servant, lay minister in the United Methodist Church and has been a criminal defense attorney for the past 40 years right here in Texas. He attends and works at the Highland Park United Methodist Church, the Dallas International Street Church on 2nd Avenue, the Restored Hope Ministry, the New Friends, New Life, Souls Harbor, which is a Dallas prison ministry, Texas Lawyers for Children, and in the course of study at Perkins School of Theology at SMU.
Thank you. Let us pray for just a moment to our Lord who created us and who sustains us. Lord, in the past week, we have seen government agencies made up of individuals all over the United States, Canada, the world, in West Texas, in Boston, Massachusetts, and probably in other cities with investigations that we may not even know about that have required and have been under your guidance, where people have come together to help others. People have run to the scenes of problems rather than run away from problems. And we ask that this body, this county judge and these county commissioners and all of their staff and all of their assistants and secretaries and all of the law enforcement people that aid in providing help from the Commissioners Court of Dallas County continue to do your work. We ask that they all exercise wisdom as you would want in making decisions to help the citizens of Dallas County and the organizations of Dallas County. We pray for your inspiration when these officials advise among themselves, when they work for our community, and when they make decisions on behalf of all of the citizens of Dallas County. So we pray for your help in guiding them in solving the problems of our county. Finally, we ask that for your help when individuals in Dallas County, even the lowest people who don't know where to turn, but perhaps come to individuals or the body organization of the Commissioners Court, come to seek help so that the judge and the commissioners can provide aid and wise advice for come seeking help. Amen.
And our first item this morning is our resolutions. And the first three resolutions this morning from Commissioner Price.
Judge, Commissioner, this morning, we're very pleased to have Donna Garner, if Ms. Garner and her delegation will come forward. Some other people. Whereas the Dallas County Commissioners Court takes special notice and acknowledges where an individual has contributed in a profound way and provided exceptional service to all the citizens of Dallas County. And whereas Donna was born in McKinney, Texas, she attended Mesquite High School and is an outstanding Dallas County employee who has dedicated over 21 years of her life to lending her assistance to the hundreds of prosecutors, support staff, police officers, and public. And whereas during her tenure with Dallas County, she has worked in records, the switchboard, in the DWI video room, and currently in the grand jury intake section of the DA's office. And whereas the county expresses its sincere appreciation to Donna Garner for being instrumental in the organization and the processing of over 50,000 cases flowing into the grand jury intake division of the Dallas County District Attorney's Office each year. And whereas her perseverance has not only won her the title of District Attorney Support Staff Employee of the Year, but her dedication, diligence, and proactive attitude represent the benchmark of the quality of service that all Dallas County employees should strive to attain. And whereas Donna Garner has maintained an admirable balance between work and home, and she is a wonderful wife to Jim Garner for over 36 years, and is the proud mother of 2 sons and 1 daughter, a grandmother to 4 grandchildren, and a great-grandmother to 6. Now therefore be it resolved that the Dallas County Commissioners Court does hereby recognize and extend sincere appreciation to Donna Garner for all of her hard work and extra effort in helping Dallas County be a more safe and secure place. And I so move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Ms. Garner, if you want to pull that mic down and for those of us who work on these various committees, and especially on the jail population, we understand how integral the whole grand jury process is in terms of filtering and sifting those cases. She talks about the 50,000 that they do as a throughput. There are a number of them who don't quite make the mark, and they keep the system from getting bogged down. And they've just been integral in terms of how we manage that system and that population. And I just want to say thank you to them.
Consider it a privilege to work at Dallas.
Ms. Lindbergh, I know you got something you want to say. The grand jury people, all of them.
We don't know what we do without Donna. She really has been the backbone of the department, and she's there tirelessly. And when the bell rings, she still stays, and she stays until everything is done and make sure that everything happens appropriately on all the cases. So we're going to miss her.
Mr. Franklin, anything to say? By the way, let the record be, it's Lincoln Monroe. It's
He was the one that made a mistake today.
It's fine, but, and I appreciate that you remember me fondly, but all of us must remember Donna. Donna has been there. I've walked by at 7 in the evening and she's still been at her desk working. I've been stunned. I hope that all county employees show the diligence that Donna has done for the last 21 years. I've been extremely pleased with her. We couldn't ask for better reports. Thank you, Donna.
Mr. Watkins, I'm sure you have something else to say.
Yes, 21 years sometime. We want to thank you for your service in Dallas County, and look forward to, still having a relationship with you as you go on to bigger and better things, and enjoy your time off. Well deserved. All right.
Thank you, Donald. Since I was a baby prosecutor, long time ago, you brought up a lot of prosecutors, and the citizens of Dallas County have no idea what we're losing in you. People don't know when you talk about those prosecutors who are on the front line making sure it's done on a day-to-day basis. When you talk about all the different sections that we have, you're one of the few people who can honestly say you touch almost every case that comes through the office and in contact with every agency that comes through the office, and you're the first, face that those agencies see. So again, you're going to be greatly missed. But you earned your vacation. I don't think you're gonna take one. But again, we love you and we really, really appreciate you. And may God bless you for all that you've done for the citizens of Dallas County.
Good.
Thank you so much. And we'll get you fixed. Thank you. Again, when you lose that kind of knowledge base, it really has impact. So thank you. The next person speaking of knowledge base is Ms. Karen Pettis. So I'd ask the HHS delegation to come forward. Mr. Thompson. It says, whereas Karen Pettis was born in El Paso, Texas, she completed her BA in sociology at the University of Washington. Whereas Karen began her Dallas County career on August 8, 1994 in the Dallas County Health and Human Services as a caseworker 1 in the intake section of the Welfare Division. Whereas Karen has continuously served in the Health and Human Services Department in various positions with increasing responsibilities to include caseworker 1 for the Housing Opportunities for Persons with AIDS Division, program monitor for the HIV Grants Division, and consortium manager for the Ryan White Plan. And whereas Karen currently serves as the Assistant Director of the Ryan White Grants Compliance, where she is responsible for contract compliance, overseeing all components of the grants division, utilizing and applying relevant theories, concepts, principles, and practices of public health program administration related to HIV/AIDS program activities. And whereas Karen has been an avid worker in the larger community, as evidenced by her outstanding contributions to her role as Health Fest Chair of Kwanzaa Fest and as a coordinator for the District 3 Public Health Advisory Council. Now therefore be it resolved that the Dallas County Commissioners Court does hereby recognize and extend sincere appreciation to Karen Pettis for her 18 years of exemplary service to the residents of Dallas County through the Dallas County Health and Human Services, and further expresses best wishes on her departure from Dallas County. And I so much.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Karen?
I just want to thank Commissioners Court, Director Thompson, and Dallas County at large. 18 years have given me a lot of amazing opportunities, wonderful connections, and I take those all with me now that I go to UNT. Hope to continue serving the community and making a difference in the lives of those we serve. So thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Thompson.
Well, I'll just say that true leadership is when you stand aside and let staff do what they need to do. And Karen Pettis has been an integral part of not only the HIV division, but as pointed out in the resolution, Kwanzaa Fest has definitely increased the number of health vendors. We use the term, your health is your wealth. When they come to Kwanzaa Fest, it is the largest health fest in the United States. And that's attributed to Karen Pettis and hard work. But that also being said, is that her passion for what she does each and every day. I'm reminded when I first started as Director of Dallas County Health and Human Services, when we asked her to come on board in her current role, we knew what she could do. And now that she moves on, we wish her luck. But I will end with, again, true leadership is you allow the staff to do what they need to do without interference.
Mr. Thompson, the District 3 Public Health Advisory Committee grew out of Kwanzaa Fest and the need to not only do an annual stop with regards to the health concerns, but year round. And she has modeled that in such a way that we are more providers year round to be able to talk about what are the real pressing issues in underserved communities with regards to our health needs. and be able to target those. Karen, I want you to know, anytime that someone drives as far as Austin, Texas, to be a part of the District 3 Public Health Advisory Committee, who came to Kwanzaa Fest one time and for several years, I think, what did she do, 5-6 years? She drove up here to the meeting and was always present at the meeting to be a part of that, because she felt like it was so well choreographed, and the fact that you made sure that we had that kind of outreach. I just want to say thank you for all you've done. Okay?
Thank you.
I really want to thank on behalf of the HIV/AIDS. We bring about $20 million.
Almost
$25 million into Dallas County, and they manage those contracts, and never had an issue. I think the auditor's office will attest in their audit that that department, that particular segment of that department, has basically almost no audit issues as it pertains to that division. Correct, Ms. Porter?
Correct, there are no findings this year, we've done very well, and thank you for that.
Thank you. I think the public needs to know that. And the final resolution, Judge and Commissioners, is Paul Williams. And I understand Mr. Hale, and there's a delegation that's with him today, and Ms. Alberta, come forward. Well, I tell you, I don't think the public can recognize when there are certain departures in the institution, how much knowledge that walks out of the door. And it's just, it's critical and it's difficult sometimes to replace. This has been one of our partners in transportation. And whereas the Dallas County Commissioner does take special notice when the individual has been a key component in their careers and a valued partner to Dallas County, whereas Paul Williams is a native of the Bronx in New York and graduated with a civil engineering degree from the University of Oklahoma in 1987, whereas Paul is an area engineer for the Texas Department of Transportation in the Dallas District Office, and has contributed and provided outstanding services while working as a project partner on various regional and major capital improvement projects. And whereas Paul began his career with the Texas Department of Transportation in 1994, he was an assistant area engineer of the Northeast Dallas County Area Office, which includes a project of $450 million North Central Expressway reconstruction area. Whereas in 1999, Paul was promoted to lead the Northeast Dallas County Area Office, overseeing all administrative, planning, design, construction, and maintenance activities. He was responsible for the final section of the North Central Project, South 1, which received the prestigious 1999 National Quality Initiative Achievement Award for completing the project under budget and ahead of schedule. And whereas Paul designed the first section of State Highway 190, then he designed and oversaw the President George Bush Turnpike Eastern Extension, which provides the interchange to I-30, increasing critically needed mobility in the region. Whereas Paul has been an invaluable asset and partner to Dallas County on numerous major joint projects such as the Court Apr Margaret Hunt Hill Signature Bridge and the Clyde Warren Deck Park. Both of these projects required municipal, multiple partnerships, and served as a signature project for the city of Dallas which received nationwide attention. Now therefore, be it resolved that the Dallas County Commissioners Court does hereby recognize and extend sincere appreciation to Paul Williams for his hard work and extraordinary contributions to the valued partnership between TxDOT and Dallas County, and further offers our best thoughts and wishes to Paul Williams at the announcement of his retirement from TxDOT, and I so move.
Second.
All those in favor?
And Paul, before you say anything, Alberta, you need to talk about how valuable he's been to us, and then I'll let them.
As it's mentioned here that Paul has worked on some major projects in the area. Paul has constantly worked on many projects. The only thing you have to do with Paul is just give him a phone call and he's there and he's available to work closely with us on many projects, such as the Pleasant Run Overpass project that we are currently getting ready to go to construction on. And he's been a major player and a major part of the region. So we just want to make sure he's recognized for that. And Bill Hale is here too, our district engineer as well.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say, I thank him for all the work you've done in our district. He came, I don't know if you know it, but leadership's hard to find. He went leading candidates in our office, working with them. He came from OU, he also played baseball for him. And he came from TxDOT. He moved in there, we did over $3 billion of work in the state of Texas in this area. So that's
$3 billion?
So he's been instrumental in getting on the Dallas area.
Bill, you got a son that plays baseball, don't you?
Yes, I did.
They got ready to mention baseball. Paul, please.
Well, Commissioner Price, thank you so much, and to the members of the court, I'm just grateful to be able to get to this point, to be able to work with county officials, and especially with Alberta and her team. I can't say enough about the people that you have here at the county, and how they go about their getting their job done. So it's really been a benefit to me as opposed to me being a benefit to the county, and I'm grateful for it. So thank you.
Well, Paul, you know, and while I said something to one of my colleagues this morning who was wanting to recognize another institution, I'm constantly on TxDOT, but I want the public to understand that in the two areas of African American heading up both sections of those projects, and I'm talking about heading up the offices. And but I really appreciate while they're talking about Cobb Travel Market, Hunt Hill, and talking about all these other big projects. I think Alberta said a few minutes ago, projects that we don't talk about is things like Pleasant Run, which is integral as we begin to talk about that whole intermodal area. And without the transportation piece, there's some other infrastructure we need, but without the transportation piece, we can't make it work. And TxDOT has come full blown to the table, and I just want to thank you. Bill, I want you to understand while you're in Austin, having to deal with all that legislative deal stuff, not only, he doesn't just send people to the meeting, he comes to the meeting himself. He makes sure. When we say we need something, we need to send something to Austin, he bird dogs it. And I just want you to know that he's, and there's a lady that I know she's not a member of our staff. So who is that?
This is my wife, so I've got to mention her.
You can't mention her. I'm trying to help you
All
out.
right. But she has been so supportive over my career, and obviously none of this would have come about without her support. So I thank you for that.
I think I put him on border rules up there. I think you in my district now. Thank you. Colleagues, for that consideration. As I said, between the three of them, we probably lost about 75 years.
All of that, crucial, you know.
Transportation, AIDS, district attorney's office, And again, over 60% of what we do is criminal justice, so I understand that important. But what we do in terms of help the community, and all of them help us meet our strategic goal with regards to what our strategic plan is in Dallas County. So a lot of.
And more importantly, Commissioner, I think it shows the multi-agency cooperation that Dallas County has when it comes to work, to move this county forward. So.
It takes a team to accomplish.
Right. And it's easy to say multi-agency, but we all know it takes years sometimes to put those projects together. Congratulations to
I've got next resolution, and I'd like to call up the Volunteer Center of North Texas, please. This resolution is for certifying for our schools, and it reads as follows. Whereas the foundation of a humane and just society is the people's willingness to work together for the common good to provide a quality education for its children. Whereas this community continues to depend on the encouragement of its people to support and impact our priorities through volunteerism. Whereas we will cease to thrive unless concerned adults act on the belief that Texas' most precious resource is all of its children. And whereas all of our children need quality educational experience to ensure that they will have opportunities to become educated and productive citizens. Whereas local public education can fulfill its mission only if it is owned by our society as a whole. Whereas the Volunteer Center of North Texas is organizing a serve-a-thon to take place on Saturday, June 15, 2013. Citizens are encouraged to invest their time, talent, and energy by volunteering in public schools that need improvement to better achieve quality educational experiences for their students. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Dallas County Commissioners Court is hereby proclaimed June 15, 2013 as Serve-a-thon 2013 in Dallas County, and urge citizens to observe this day by contacting the Volunteer Center of North Texas, volunteer at a designated public school, thereby helping to assure the quality educational experience for more of Dallas children. And I so move. All those in favor?
Aye. Thank you. We're going to be serving 3 schools in Pleasant Grove and 3 schools in South Oak Cliff. And I would invite all of you to contact us for more information, and we'd love to see you all out there on those days. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, finally, I have another resolution for outstanding employee service. And that resolution reads as follows. Whereas John Wiley Price was born by the tent, the son of a Baptist minister, the late Coleman Price, and the late Willie Faye Price on April 24th, 1950. Whereas John Wiley Price was reared, jeered, and cheered in nearby Kaufman County, Texas, and graduated from Forney High School, the home of the Fighting Jackrabbits. His personality, he would later assume. Soon traded in the cotton fields of Forney for the bright lights and big sights and Big D, where he enrolled in college and found employment at the Sanger Harris department store. Meanwhile, he was seeking life's finer things as he walked daily by his favorite dry goods store, also known as Neiman Marcus. Whereas John Wiley Price became a Dallas County employee on September 16, 1970 in the Public Works Department. He was later promoted to Chief Clerk for Judge Cleo Steele on December 1, 1975. A tireless worker, he served the Justice of the Peace Court by day and moonlighted for the same court by night.
Hold on, Judge. I'm sorry for the interruption, but I've been meaning to talk to John about it. He keeps getting credit for being Justice of the Peace, Precinct 8, Phase 2. I was the Justice of the Peace. Administrative assistant. I had the gavel. I was the judge. So the sheriff back in the 80s appointed him as a member of the sheriff's posse. Now, I just completed the police academy and passed the TCOS exam, so I'm now a Texas peace officer. You can give him credit for that.
And whereas in 1984, a minority opportunity district was created in the Dallas County Commissioners Court, providing citizens of color the first opportunity to elect the person of their choice. After a hotly contested 6-person primary race, John Wiley Price was elected as the first African-American county commissioner in the history of Dallas County, taking office on January 1, 1985. Following the advice of his late father, if you see a good fight, get in it, John Wiley Price became a sought-after speaker and championed justice by fighting every institution in Dallas where equality wasn't being practiced, and was soon heralded as our man downtown as he opened doors for other minority leaders in this county. And whereas John Wiley Price remains just as committed to his elected office as he was to his previous positions at the county, and has gained respect from the workforce by his unique understanding of their position as entry-level and managerial employees. In addition to managing Road and Bridge District 3, John Wiley Price found himself as an advocate for equality and change, using his powerful voice to be a champion of many good causes. Prior to his election, Dallas County had only recorded a total of $50,000 annually in MWBE contracts for goods and services. Since his investiture, Dallas County MWBEs began publishing annual results in 1998 and have an aggregate total of $420 million through 2012.
Excuse me. But history reflects the first African-American woman to be appointed to the bench in Dallas County was Joan Tarpley Wynn, who was appointed by Governor Mark White. Then Governor Ann Richards appointed Attorney H. Ron White. And don't forget about the appointment of the late Berlin Bashir, my church member, as judge, or the election of the late Jesse Dawson as constable. Don't forget that Commissioner Jim Tyson appointed both Cleo Steele and George Allen as Justice of the Peace, and George Brewer as constable. We've come a long way.
Excuse me, Judge. Please don't forget, I'm the first African-American county clerk in the history of Dallas County, as well as the only one in the state of Texas.
Well, wait, Mr. Brandon, I'm just to that. I'm very proud to be the first Latina to be elected.
And I'm honored to serve as the first Hispanic female sheriff in Dallas County.
One more interruption. Look around this room. This courtroom was filled with many historic firsts, thanks in no small part to Commissioner Price. I serve as the first African-American county administrator of Dallas County, and I'm pleased and honored and blessed to lead and work with a team of highly qualified, competent department heads. Thanks again in no small part to Commissioner Price. Dr. Terry Smith, the head of our Juvenile Justice Department, Ms. Alberta Blair, the first female and African-American lead of our Public Works Department, Mr. Gordon Heichel, the first Assistant County Administrator, Shannon Brown, the first female purchasing agent, Ms. Virginia Porter, the first all-female county auditor. We also have Dr. Maddie Malden-Taylor, the first African-American head of our Human Resources Department, and Mr. Stanley Lichtrom, our first African-American CIO.
I will be here as the first African-American district attorney. And around what Commissioner Price set for us, that we have the first African-American first assistant in the district attorney's office. And we have a diverse group in the DA's office with many African-Americans and Hispanics that actually lead our office. So, Commissioner Price, thank you for all you've done.
The first African-American female public defender in the state of Texas.
And let's not forget the first Hispanic fire marshal back then. And whereas John Wiley Price has been honored to have a school in rural Kenya named named for him, as well as a library. More importantly, has seen the fruits of his labor spread throughout Dallas County, as evidenced by the strong, qualified, experienced, and diverse workforce and department heads. And whereas since becoming a Dallas County employee, John Willie Price has rarely missed any days from the Commissioner Court meetings, including his sabbatical at the Loose Ferret Resort. And even vote. After an emergency appendectomy, he discharged himself from the hospital to be in his seat for court, although he sat on it with a pillow under his bone. During times of inclement weather, Commissioner Price takes advantage of his short commute to the administration building to arrive early, allowing employees of further distance to arrive safely later. He will answer phones, stuff envelopes, inspect the jail or other detention facilities, chair committees, or preside in the absence of the chair. On official county holidays, he spends his time at the jail and at juvenile detention centers, serving meals and providing fellowship to those away from their families. He is, without question, committed to his work and to his calling. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Dallas County Commissioner Court does hereby wish our senior member, Commissioner John Willie Price, a very happy birthday tomorrow, and applaud him for 43 years of service to Dallas County, making him one of our longest tenured employees.
Excuse me, Judge, excuse me. I recently checked that, and he is actually the longest tenured employee right now. And it seems when he became commissioner, he left lots of vacation on the books. So I was thinking maybe we'll have a surplus this year.
Whoa! I might need those hours to recover from all those midnight meetings in the jail.
Well, there is more interruption.
Hold on, Judge. Okay, I got a great idea here. Since Commissioner started in the Public Works Department, I think that we can take this resolution and create the new John Willie Price Memorial Cubicle. Okay? And I have the right spot. I got young engineers now, and they need to know about Commissioner Price, and I got the perfect spot, okay? It's going to go to Jonathan Fleming, who is one of our engineers, and we're going to put it in his cubicle.
It is a privilege to work at Dallas County, and it is inspiring to know that leaders once sat where I sat and went on to achieve great things.
No, I want that cubicle. You want to give it to Jonathan?
I'm going to pull seniority. Thank you, Director.
John Willie Price, remember what you told my daddy? There's pride in being the first. There's shame in being the only. Look around and you aren't the only one anymore. I look forward to being in a seat or one of these seats one day. And the following show that you have blessed for so many people, even kids like me.
Yeah, I got it interrupted. I'm glad my pastor, Reverend Freddie Hayes, is here today, because he needs to pray for me. I've been playing Roger the Batman now for almost 43 years. And so I ended up with a t-shirt, but I want to make sure that he has it. It says John Willie Price of service, 43 years of service with AAA rating, addressing real issues, advancing real change, and achieving real results. Thank you, Commissioner Price.
Are there any more interruptions? If there's no more interruptions, Then I will move adoption of this resolution. Is there a second?
As a new member of this court, I would like to second this resolution so that we can get on it and do some more of those results.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
On behalf of all of us, and families and staff, a small token of appreciation. You know what to give you after 42 years, and we can find a AAA rating enough. And then Commissioner, tomorrow I'll give you the last
Oh, absolutely. Can we take a moment? Let's get everyone who was a part of that to please come forward and let's get a group picture.
All the interruptions.
All interruptions.
You guys have been the longest tenure, but not the oldest.
Okay.
Right.
That's good.
Well, where's your birthday?
No. Mr. Washington, you just move on the other side of the door right here. That's it, good. Especially if you do turn the system. Mr. Yes, Mr. Beautiful, Mr. Warren. Okay, everybody see that? Everybody see it? All right, what's the best you're gonna do? Mr. Warren, we're gonna try to do this, we're gonna try to go over. Everybody see it? Mr. Also, ready? 1, 2. All right, yeah. Back over there, next time.
Good job.
I want to take two brief moments of personal privilege. One is to thank Daphne Bain and Shay Cassie and all those who played a part in this resolution and interruptions. Second, I want to recognize some county employees who did some tremendous work this week, starting with Daryl Martin. You know, when our neighbors are in need, Dallas County, being a large county with assets that smaller counties don't have, frequently was called to help. And I know that Daryl and Gordon were on the phone with me and were on the phone with others. Many nights helping on the West explosion as well as during the days there. I want to recognize the work of the people at Swifts at the Southwest Institute of Forensic Science for their work on the West. But also, I want to single out a county employee that I just love. And that is Roberto De Los Santos.
Yes.
And of course, I love all y'all, but I love the way this guy leans forward. So we find out at about 7:40 about that the fire's been turned into an explosion. Before the nightly news comes on, before most people are even aware that there's been a fire explosion, he has called two commissioners, he has gathered together bulldozers, he calls me on my cell phone, he says, Judge, I'm ready to go. I haven't even made contact with my counterpart in McLennan County yet to find out what assets are needed. And he's like, you know, chomping at the bit, ready to go, always leaning forward. They were overrun with help that night. They did not need help that night. But it is fitting that this Friday, so that they can grieve their dead and do the things and take much needed rest. The Dallas County Fire and Rescue, as well as the volunteer departments from Columbine and Cockrell Hill, will go down and be led by Chief De Los Santos, the fire marshal, in working that scene on this Friday, or could end up being Thursday night through Friday. Also, Chief Fulbright will go down and lead our fire delegation to the memorial service on Thursday. So I want to thank you guys for always leaning forward. It's good to help our neighbor. It's the right thing to do, and it provides valuable insights for when problems happen here in Dallas County. We learn from helping our neighbor, and we're that much better able to protect our citizens. So thank you for your work. Oh, and I always leave out somebody, so I'm going to leave out somebody no matter what. But also, I want to recognize our Homeland Security and Emergency Management Department for all of their work. And I'm for sure going to leave out, it's like Ron Kirk always told me, never thank anybody but your family because you leave people out. But all of our county employees who played a role in helping our neighbors this week. And all of our county employees who worked so hard on 5 presidents being in town tomorrow. So thank you. And with that, we can move to the consent agenda. Is there a motion on the consent?
So moved.
Second. Next, we'll consider court orders 9 through 30.
I'll move the orders. 9 through 30.
Any discussion on court orders 9 through 30?
Judge, I need to just give you a clarification on court order number 24. The bid number for that that's listed in your summary shows 2012-053-5985. That number should be 2012-056-5985. Just changing that 3 to a 6. It's correct in the court order that you're going to sign, but it was not reflected in this particular piece. So just want to make that clear.
And of course you got my emails, and Mr. Thompson responded don't believe. On Court Order 28, Ms. Alberta Glad, the language on those ILAs are giving me some pause because traditionally we've not done work with these cities until they escrow the funds in Dallas County. I was reading this particular court order does not require them to escrow their dollars in Dallas County. Is that a change that we have done?
What we've done, and again, this is, of course, the master agreement.
Master agreement, right.
This is the master agreement.
Right.
So the master agreement is just outlining the whole process. The project-specific agreement will actually go into more detail. Now, we have gone through and added into the PSAs, the project-specific agreements, the whole idea on escrow account, or having escrow accounts. So
But it's my understanding that it has changed.
we have added those into those project-specific
So
agreements.
you've added them back.
Into project-specific agreements.
Okay.
I was hoping this would be one I could vote against.
Believe me, I well, and you know what? Historically, I have always voted against it.
I know.
The difference is now, is that not because I represent them and they're in my district, it's because they have at least had a change of consciousness. It's amazing, as in grace. But apparently,
As in lawsuit.
as a lawsuit. Oh, I'm sorry. Can we say that? Anyway, but understanding that they do have a project now that's in the pipeline, wherein there's going to be affordable housing in the town of Sunnyvale. They probably don't want a lot of folks to know about it, but they spent the last couple of decades, or at least the last decade or so, fighting it, and that's and so that the record be real clear. Commissioner Cantrell has always represented Sunnyvale, and I have always voted against it based on the news litigation because there was not affordable housing with regards to that community. And the news litigation had prevailed with regards to this particular issue. So even though we are just offering law enforcement public safety services, I just traditionally have voted against it. But this year it appears as though they, like I said, they've got a change of consciousness and change of something. Anyway, change of commissioners. Yeah, right. Anyway, they got it.
It's your birthday, I support it.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
Any other discussion on the court orders for the take a vote? Now I call the question on in favor. Okay, so those orders pass unanimously. Next is our briefing. The orders all passed unanimously. Next is our briefing agenda. Mr. Martin, would you please take us through our briefing?
Our first item is House and Human Services. We'll have the West Nile virus update by Director Thompson.
Judge and Commissioners, the weekly update that we provide in this discussion to you. Also, I want to be real clear. This year, we're not, when people make erroneous statements, we're going to be very clear on calling it elected or appointed. As I do these presentations, it's not going to allow people to say anything. So as we start here, you see the emails I receive weekly, and I get inundated with emails from residents. I appreciate that. We forward it on. Mr. Cantrell recommended I forward it on to Craig Bartu, our legislative assistant. That should support our Senate Bill 186 as well as our House Bill 832. We'll go to the next slide. Again, the local health departments have been meeting, the 4 counties, Denton, Collin, Tarrant, as well as Dallas County, have been meeting with the regional director down in Arlington every week. They put together where the state is going to be reviewing our plan. I'll bring forward a letter because our 4 counties disagree with this particular scenario that's here. We don't feel that Austin can dictate to 4 counties what any of our thresholds should be. So our position is that if Austin's going to dictate, then Austin needs to come to the 4 counties and run the program. So we'll address that in a letter, and I'll bring that forward. Let's go to the next slide. This one I presented last week that I'm going to bring up each week. The CDC update report to show what's been accomplished. That was report number B. Let me go to the next one, which is C, which deals with legal control. You'll see that we're on target with our Senate Bill 186 and our House bill in terms of meeting that CDC recommended action. We'll go to the next slide. Last week, we realized that on April 18th, which I notified the court on April 18th, that Highland Park has a positive mosquito pool, as well as, I'm going to run the list in terms of the city of Richardson. I will point out that those 2 cities use a private vendor to their mosquito traps as well as their lab results. And so Dallas County Labs, that's why I want to make sure it's clear, because I don't know where that's under. Dallas County Labs data had no positive mosquito pools or traps. And so that's the information I have. Anybody got anything different, they can tell me, but that we've not had any positive mosquito traps. And then here's our list that we bring up every week. It talks about the number of mosquito traps. You can see we've done testing up to almost 100 traps, and all of them have been negative. And then our vendor update, you'll see that BDCI is still collecting mosquito traps. And again, they've been negative. Leading Edge, which is our map vision that we're scheduled to go live on June 3rd, is working on the programming process. And then our insecticide resistance testing, again, that's going to be kind of delayed based on the weather. Tomorrow, I'm traveling to Austin with Dr. Perkins. One of the signs of leadership is when health directors across the state request that you come do the presentation. That's leadership. Thanks a lot.
And while you're there, of course, we haven't gotten to the matter yet, but on E, the renewal of the emergency mosquito control area spraying contract with Dynamic Aviation Group.
Correct.
This has been in our arsenal and part of our plan since 2002.
Right.
So it's not new. But I do notice that there seems to be some augmentation with regard to this contract. And we differentiate that for the court. I mean, we got 24 pages there.
Right. I think
on page 2.
Page 2, it'd be page 19 of the briefing item. Page 2, at the bottom of page 19 of the briefing item, you'll see that we have a work order that shall be issued for less than 12,000 acres. One of the things, lessons learned, is that in years past we've had no acres less than 40,000 acres. And so we feel like that having 12,000 acres in here gives you that targeted spraying option as well as a larger wide area spraying. So you limit yourself when you got 40 to 50,000 acres in a contract, and we've tried to narrow it down, and the contract is in agreement for doing around 12,000 acres. So we think that that's a best practice learned. That's what I'll be talking about tomorrow with other health directors, that if they have a plan, they should definitely have 50,000. But in terms of developing your plan, you should definitely have a alternative contract where you focus on 12,000 acres or less. And I think that gives you a targeted area and a wide area spraying opportunity. And that's the major change in earlier than the dates and the name change.
I didn't want to preempt you, Mr. Martin, but that I had a comment with regards to it. I want the public to be real clear when they look up, because they see Ariel and they go nuts. But we've always had this in our arsenal, in our plan, and the only thing that's changed, as he said, is from 40,000 to the 12.
I want to say something about general aviation and also senior moment. I forgot the chemical company that provides the chemicals out there. Was Clark with me, that's right. I oversaw that last year. I was there every night when those guys went out spraying. Daryl's out there a couple of times with me. And they just did a tremendous job. That is incredibly difficult and frankly dangerous work, because you've got two guys in the plane, one guy with his eyes on the spray apparatus to make sure the spray goes exactly where it needs to. The other guys with his eyes out, they've got to fly at low altitudes where they're in danger of hitting radio towers and all kinds of things. And they got to fly with precision, particularly in the instance that we had last year. We had some areas that wanted the aerial spray, some areas that opted for the ground spray campaign that Zach was overseeing, and they were very clear that they didn't want overlap. So we had to make sure that spray, or they had to make sure, the professionals had to make sure that spray landed in the right areas. And they did that. They worked just 20 hours a day at it. It was just tremendous. And I'm pleased to see that we're contracting with them again. I hope we don't need that again. But if we do, I have high confidence that this group of individuals is the right group of individuals to do that.
I think it should be noted too that the contract says in the event of an emergency.
Correct.
So it is just being ready, which is what, as a diligent, responsible leadership group, we should be ready in an emergency.
It says only in case.
Right.
Exactly.
But what I want as chairman of public health, what I want the public to realize is that this has always, since 2002, been in our arsenal. So it's not new, it has nothing to do with last year. It's always been in our arsenal. And that's what I really want to point out, that it's not new.
Correct. It's been the policy of the last resource.
Right. Okay?
Okay. Health and Human Services, item B and C, those court orders on your formal agenda. Item D, recommends approval of the Department of State Health Services Contract TB State African American Project. Item E, you've heard. Item F, recommends acceptance of the grant award and the agreement with the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation for advancing accreditation process for the Health and Human Services with the Public Health Accreditation Board.
I want to point out, in these briefings, we've already acknowledged to the court in previous briefings that this is the accreditation process that health departments throughout the state of Texas have to go through. We've met all benchmarks, so we're already looking internally in terms of all of our health programs. As part of this grant, we were only out of two health departments in the state of Texas that received this grant. And Dallas was one for Health and Human Services, I believe Houston. So this grant right here is just not a small feat. This is demonstrating that we are meeting our accreditation process, that we will have one of the first accredited health departments in the state. So this is an inward look at our program. So I just didn't want to play it over because sometimes these briefings get lost.
Right.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas.
And thanks to the, Woods Foundation, the Robert Wood Johnson
So
Foundation.
don't just give it away.
That's right. It's $137,000. Welcome and for a great cause.
Item 2, Information Technology. 2A, recommends approval of BizTalk assessment under the Microsoft DIR contract. Funds are available under the IT supplier contract funds account. Item 2B, recommends approval of the purchase of 2 Cisco switches, APC power supplies, and support from TFB. Funding is available from the Major Technology Fund hardware refresh account. Item C, recommends engaging TAN to conduct an assessment for the long-term interactive solution for county financial applications with the current countywide receiving system. Funds are available in the existing countywide receiving system project budget. Item 3, Sheriff's Department recommends renewal of the interlocal agreement with El Centro College for housing of the Sheriff's Training Academy at the Bell Creek campus. Dr. Dan, you had one question?
Yeah, I just had a question of clarification within this contract. And understanding it's just an interlocal agreement, but under financial impact and considerations, there is the responsibility of the IT department to supply support to this agreement. I wondered in the past what kind of responsibilities have those included?
And I believe they were responsible for setting up their computer lines and their phone lines. I don't know if the sheriff's here, anything planned for in the future.
Sheriff's here.
So is there any anticipation that it'd be anything other than?
Currently, it's basically technology. They have a much advanced system than we do, and they provide that to us, and then computers.
Oh, Central does. So that our responsibilities from our IT, we won't require any additional staff or funding and that kind of thing. So
they provide all that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sheriff. Item 4, purchasing. 4A recommends allocation of $697,000 on permanent improvement funds for the design and replacement of galvanized piping and fire pumps in the North Tower Jail in coordination with the medical modifications project. And item B, in reference to the jail medical modification project, purchasing recommends 1, approval of additional reimbursables to HDR Architecture. 2, deduction of funds from ART contract from the Aztec Russell and Turner contract. Item 3, approval of additional project management service proposals submitted by Hill International. And 4, approval of funds to pay overtime to the Sheriff's Department to provide security to the project. And I believe Dr. Danny had one question on that also.
Recognizing that we're very attentive to the amount of overtime that is paid, and what is the amount here, and is that reasonable?
$250,000.
Right, $250,000, but it's not, we're not having to pay for that.
So it's a pass-through?
Yeah, it's a pass-through. We're coming back into the contract. Brown?
The Sheriff's Department and payroll have set up a way of specifically tracking that, so when the overtime is entered for this, we will charge that here to the project. It was anticipated that the contractor would be able to provide that security. That's why we're reducing their contract to be able to pay for this additional expense out of the project.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Stanton. Item 5, auditor recommends an approval and additional cost to KPMG, the annual audit contract for expanded scope of 2 audits. Item 6, Public Works recommends the City of Grand Prairie act as trustee for Dallas County for the sale of parcels of land listed in your briefing to the highest qualified bidder. Item 7, Commissioners Court Administration recommends relief of the draft design and run policy with distribution to department heads for 30-day review and comment. I'm also going to request that we post this so as many folks as possible can have an opportunity to respond to this, and we will be bringing this back for briefing after the 30-day review and comment period. Item 8, budget. 8A, the conference travel training request. 8B, that quarter was on your formal agenda. 8C, recommends approval of the professional services agreement between Legacy Family Court and Christopher S. Taylor as a part-time coordinator for the court. I have one bring up, this was already discussed, but I need approval from the court for the fire marshal to take some equipment down to West Texas. They'll be leaving tomorrow, coming back over the weekend to provide support to the folks of West Texas.
And again, I want to thank my staff. I just passed 9 o'clock. Sometimes they can't reach me, but they reach staff and bulldozers and all those were made available. Ms. Porter didn't get a chance on KPMG annual audit. Is there any commentary in regards to that? I know probably each one of us, we met with them. Do you have any commentary?
No, this particular one is for grants where the issues were either CDAP, required expanded scope, and another for charter school where we had to expand the scope of the teams audit. Back to the county CAFR though, the major audit that they performed, we have concluded that with no findings this year. So everything that was questioned last year has been resolved.
Right, and they did have some concerns, I know, last year with regards to your staff and technology and all, and I think we've tried to address.
We added a contract with technology, so we're working on upgrading the finance system, and we added staff to document the workflow. That has all been satisfactory.
But other than that, it's pretty much the copy of last year. I have the opportunity to review them, and pretty much the same.
Correct.
Judge, that includes briefing agenda. You have 1 speaker listed.
And they will please read the rules of the court for our speakers.
Yes, sir. All Commissioners Court attendees are hereby advised that this meeting is conducted in accordance with provision of Dallas Code Section 74-71. Visitors and registered speakers are to preserve order, decorum at all times. Personal, profane, or slanderous remarks are not appropriate and will not be allowed at any time during this public meeting. Any and all applause is to be kept brief in observance of time constraint. Disruptive visitors and may be removed or subject to the penalty provided in the state of Dallas, Texas Code, Penal Code Section 38.13, 42.01, and 42.05. Registered individual speakers are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes And the maximum discussion on any one topic is limited to 30 minutes.
All right, thank you very much. Our speaker today is Mr. Paul Stubbs, and the subject is parking, Mr. Stubbs. Mr. Stubbs, if you would, as you begin your talk, just let us know your address and you'll hear a beep. After about 3 minutes, there'll be a series of, I think, 3 beeps. You don't have to stop talking at that moment, just finish your thought or your sentence at that time.
Yes, sir. My name is Paul Stubbs, and my address is 3025 Western Drive, Garland, Texas 75042.
What's that?
The reason why I come before you today is because I was a Parkland patient, and I entered the Parkland system on November 1st of 2010. And during the time, it was requested of me from my physician to, I had a copy of my medical records because I have a life-threatening illness that at some point in time will kill me. And I brought my medical records from Colorado, and the doctor asked if he could borrow the copy because I brought showing medication lists and such, and return it when he had the ability to review it. I started making requests. I ended up exiting the system in April 19th of 2011. I started making requests for the medical record back as the doctor had promised. And to this point in time, it has never been discovered to its location. And it is more than 170 pages. And I brought this to the attention of one of our county commissioners, Dr. Garcia, and where she had assisted on trying to find some answers for that, and I appreciate that very much. But I also at the same time had more than one occasion in which even though I'm no longer a patient, I'm concerned about other patients, prospectively speaking, because I had 3 different issues that occurred in a period of about a year and a half that where patient confidentiality and privacy was not in place. I just sent a notice of change of address on the 1st of April to an address or to a fax number listed on the letterhead from Parkland's legal department, advising them that I had moved to Garland from Dallas. And after following up last week with the privacy director at Parkland, it was discovered that she had no knowledge as to what that number even went to. It was not a number to either legal or to the privacy department. So therefore, I divulged my change of address to, I'm not sure. And then another occasion was where I was sitting in a patient exam room and speaking to the unit manager and a bunch of people, well, there were 3 specifically that barged into the room while I was discussing my health concerns with the unit manager, and I was very sad about it, and I was talking about things specific to my health condition and disability. And 2 were only identified by others who follow-ups I got from Parkland, whereas they admit that there were 3 people that came in, but they only said that they interviewed 2 people. So I'm just asking for another chance at maybe reviewing this with their senior management, and I also had already done this on April 6th of 2011, and it was not working. And I was asking for another opportunity.
Thank you, sir. We have no other speakers.
Let me just say this, we can't respond, it's not on our agenda, you speak to us, we've heard you, so we can kind of go from there.
I understand.
Okay?
All right, thank you.
We have our speakers, so we are now recessed for closed sessions. I'll address that.